Ugh, I've never ever wanted to create a video about this, nor did I ever want to mention this to anyone in the next couple of thousand years, but because I need the video uploaded to my YouTube channel to make sure all 3 people who watch my channel won't get angry, let's get right into the— And by the way, I'm not an artist and I couldn't be bothered to do a face cam, so this is why you're seeing really bad drawing. NCS. For those who don't know, it stands for National Citizen Service, and basically it is a 4-week program your parents sign you up to, or unless you're one of those weird kids that wanted to do it. And for the first week you get sent somewhere far away with strangers and do fun activities. Then on the second week you learn to live in a— oh my god, helicopter. Then on the second week you learn to live in a university campus with roommates, and you also learn how to cook for yourself, which actually ended up better than it usually does. And then on the third and fourth week you and your group plan a campaign on a local issue and then stand somewhere handing out leaflets while getting continuously ignored. You know, those kinds of people. I probably made it seem less fun than it actually is. Now, the accident. It happened on the first week on the 3rd day, so I'll just walk you through the entire day. You're welcome. 3rd day was the day when we were meant to go rock climbing and abseiling. That didn't go too well. Then go to camping area and camp there for the night. Now, it's also important to note that I was the boy team leader of my group on that day, or project manager, how they would call it, and therefore I had to motivate my team and keep up the positivity at all times, which is easy because of my amazing humor. And just a little note on how NCS was structured: you have several teams, usually with around 12 people in each. My NCS wave had 4 teams with like 8 or 10 people in each. We were quite a small wave. It was only my team that went rock climbing and abseiling on that day. Other teams were doing other activities. Every team has an adult senior mentor, kind of like a leader, and then there's also a boy and a girl project manager, which just helped the senior mentor. Our team had 10 members, and I'm not sure how all of this is relevant to the story actually. Anyways, the day started off simply. They drove us to the site with around a 40-foot tall cliff. I only remember that because I told my team that it's nearly 7 meters. Now, all the time from day 2 till now, I was constantly telling my group how I'm not nervous at all. I thought we'll be climbing a fake wall, not an actual cliff. Here's a picture from Google Maps of the cliff. Sorry I can't get any closer to the cliff or have any personal images of the cliff, and plus you don't understand how long it took me to trace back this location to get this photo. So first we did rock climbing, and my group was split into 3 smaller groups of like 4 people because there were 3 different sections of the cliff you could climb. My group just so happened to choose the hardest one to climb. For those of you that don't know, rock climbing gear looks a little bit like this. 2 straps around your thighs and a main strap around the waist. Then you hook on some sort of clip onto your harness and attach a rope to it so that your teammates could keep pulling the rope and tightening your position as you're going up the cliff. You know, ensuring your safety. Now, me being the team leader, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go first and motivate my team. And that was probably one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my life. The weather on that day was wonderful. It was bright and sunny with little clouds to be seen. Nah, just kidding, this is England. It started raining as soon as we came up to the cliff. Not only was the cliff 10 times more slippery, but now the rain was cutting through my eyes every time I looked up. Either way, I was still determined to climb the cliff, but as soon as I placed my foot onto the cliff, I nearly slipped, so I started questioning life and how one day we're all gonna die, you know, that type of stuff. At one part, I clearly remember not knowing where to go next, and then someone shouting to me, "Hey, you look really comfortable up there," to which I replied, "Yeah, I really am comfortable. In fact, I'm so comfortable that I'm gonna stay here for the rest of my life." So yeah, after some time, I managed to make it to the top, and when I say the top, I mean the part where you could touch the metal ring with the rope coming through it, but we'll just call it the top, okay? Now, guess what it was time for? Coming down. Now, even though this isn't abseiling, I already should have taken a note of the fact that I suck at coming down. That's what she said. So how you would get down is your instructor would take control of your rope and you have to lean back as though you're sitting in midair on your harness and kind of start waddling down. Once I got lowered about halfway, I lost control, probably because I'm really tall, and flipped on the other side and hit my back on the cliff, and I'm actually thankful that I didn't hit like a spike or something with my lower back because, you know, that would have revealed my avatar powers. But yeah, after that I helped motivate my teammates to climb, you know, nothing fun. You're only responsible for their entire life and how they feel about themselves after they finish doing rock climbing. And by the way, at that point, when I was already on the ground in pain, the instructor told us that our section of the cliff was the hardest to climb. Yeah, thanks. After my group finished climbing our section, we were offered to climb other sections, and although my teammates gladly agreed, I just thought, no thanks. And plus my back hurt, of course. I mean, that was obviously the main reason I didn't climb the other sections. And now the good bit you were waiting for. Abseiling. Now, for those who don't know and thought abseiling was a water sport, and don't worry, I thought that too, abseiling is a way of going down a flat side of a cliff. Fun! Now, not gonna lie, I was dying on the inside, my soul was killing itself, I was scared, not because I'm scared of heights, but because I'm allergic to dying. It's completely safe, they said, nothing can happen to you, they said. So, of course, we still had the harness. I think it might have been slightly different to the rock climbing one, and there we were standing on a path just outside where the edge of the cliff was. Guess who was the first one to go? Yeah, it was me. Well, and another girl that was the girl leader of the group. They were doing it two at a time, obviously in different sections of the cliff. So I'm there, safety rope tied to my harness, me feeling the diarrhea escaping my intestine. No, not really, that wasn't the embarrassing bit. And there I am, right at the edge of the cliff, with an instructor telling me how to function when abseiling. But there was just one problem, I still didn't know how to function when abseiling. Yep, I completely misunderstood all instructions and held the rope in the wrong place, or I don't even know what happened, but the next thing I know is I slipped and fell down the cliff, snapping my leg in half, and I'm just joking, that didn't really happen. Which is why you should wear your harness, kids. But what did happen is there was me dangling on a rope like a wet sausage about 34 feet from the ground. Now, I forgot to mention this actually, but the fact that the two straps on the harness are around your thighs, when the gravity is doing its thing and is pulling you down, the straps they go a little higher than they should. And at that very moment I felt like I was being quite literally castrated. Thankfully, I managed to push myself back into an abseiling position, so with my legs straight against the wall. But of course the pain in my crotch area was so strong, I fell again. Of course the instructor was just there like, "Are you alright?" And I was like, "Oh yes, I'm quite fine. I didn't want to have kids anyway." Of course I'm not alright. I didn't actually say that, but he offered for me to try pull myself back up, and I did. If you haven't caught on yet, at that moment I was in a lot of pain. In fact, I was in so much pain that the instructor suggested I go to the bushes and make sure that everything was alright, implying that I should check whether I still have everything. Thanks, instructor. But I did do that, and as I was going into the bushes, I was already thinking up a new gender that I'll have to choose to be after this was over. Now, to check, I had to take off my harness. Yeah, just remember that. Once I came back out of the bushes, the senior mentor asked me if I wanted an ice pack, so I was like, "Oh no thank you, I'll be quite alright with the most sensitive parts of the male body being completely crushed." The senior mentor was really nice, so I didn't actually say that, obviously. But anyway, we came down to the bottom of the cliff. No, not by abseiling, obviously. To the little field area where all our camping bags were located, and she got me an ice pack, and I was just sitting there religiously praying for the pain to go away. But wait, there's more embarrassing stuff. Being an NCS senior mentor, she needs to inform my parents of any injuries I had, so that they don't sue NCS later on. And of course I didn't want that to happen, but I told her about the pain in my elbows and knees, which I hit on a cliff when I fell. I don't actually know if she got around telling my parents about my injury, but I hope she didn't, because otherwise that just makes the situation 3 times more embarrassing. But wait, there's even more! What makes this situation even worse is that no one else, absolutely no one else, failed abseiling. They all came down the cliff as safe as a butterscotch cucumber with freshly made icing on it. What? So I was the only one that failed the simplest of things. Fun! Not only that, but people went twice, and 2 people even raced down the cliff to see who gets to the bottom first. But wait, there's more! I guess the way life beat me up and left me down on the cold, hard ground wasn't enough for it, so of course it made the situation even worse. You know how I said I chucked the harness on the ground in the bushes whilst I was checking? Well, after abseiling, we had a small break, and after that, we had to walk to the campsite, which was only like 20 to 30 minutes away. And the path we needed to take was past the place where we abseiled, and past the bushes that I was checking myself in. Now, once we were going past the bushes, the instructor noticed something in the bushes. Can you guess what it is? Yeah, it was my harness. So the instructor made me carry my embarrassment in my hands throughout the entire trip to the campsite. I clearly remember when we got to the campsite, he was sitting outside a big tent with another instructor of another group, and once I came up to him and gave him the harness back, the other instructor looked at us and asked, "What happened there?" And all my instructor responded with was something along the lines of, "Just a little bit of men's private business," and winked at me, not like in a creepy way, but in a way that says, "I got you, bro, I'll keep your secret." Thanks. And that's my embarrassing abseiling incident. After that, throughout the entire NCS, my teammates would not stop mentioning the incident to me, and even put it down as the funniest NCS moment in their little NCS booklets. And I mean, being the banterous human being I am, I just laughed it off. I bet I was the only person in the entire UK ever since NCS started to have failed at abseiling, and now it's on YouTube. Fun! Oh god. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, guys. Zero. That I shouldn't have read that. That shouldn't be on my script. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, guys. Let me know if you had any similar experiences to abseiling incidents. I'm sure you haven't, but either way, leave a comment to say what you think of my experience. And I have to say that this wasn't the most embarrassing thing a human being felt. I'm sure other people have been in much worse situations, but this is mine. Have a good day, and goodbye, everyone. What was annoying though is that I couldn't make fun of anyone else. Like, this one time a girl in my group tripped over a dog, and I found that hilarious, but whenever I'd bring it up to her, she'd always be like, "Hey, remember abseiling?"